Have you ever wondered about how life just feels like it's stuck sometimes on these repeating habits and cycles, that you're having the same thoughts, the same patterns, and the same doubts that keep coming up into your mind? Well, maybe it's your belief that are causing these things to occur for you, and that is keeping you stuck in the situation that you're currently in. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how beliefs are the secret sauce of your life, how they're the foundation from which your realities come from, the structure in which your house is formed and which you lead life forward with. And we're going to be talking about how can we release old self-limiting beliefs that are keeping us stuck and acquire new beliefs that will help empower us to lead the life that will bring us the most emotional fulfillment. Welcome to the AlignUs podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nikhil Sharma, and I'm so grateful to have you here with us today. Joining me today is the excitement whisperer, the transformational coach, the incredible Taylor Wells. Welcome, Taylor. I'm so glad that you're here with us today, as we have been chatting for the past couple of weeks. Such an honor.
Dr. Nick, you love it. You know I love being here, and I get so excited for our chats on this podcast. And I love how we just basically jump right into it, because it's all about once you find your foundation, your beliefs, right, and then your emotions and thoughts arise from that. Then you go into action, and we are acting here today on this beautiful day in 2024 regarding how to actually take the thoughts, the theory that you just spoke of, which those are my beliefs, and turn them into 3D reality. And that takes action. So, there's absolutely nothing wrong with reading and studying and immersing yourself in theory. However, if you don't act on it, nothing's happening. I'm just telling you right now. So no. I love that we jump right into it.
Yeah. What are beliefs at their basic, point of reference? What are beliefs, and how do they act as a foundation for what we feel, what we think, and what we do?
Wonderful questions. So as some of you may know and some of you may not know, I'm a big fan of utilizing flashcards. Okay, so I learned how to use flashcards once upon a time when I was studying for graduate school exams. And I noticed that when I would look at these cards, I would remember vocabulary. Okay, and I raised my vocabulary and whatever score really very quickly. And what I noticed was, so those were my thoughts, right? You have a brain, I call it the neurological net, that is all lit up. And what you're focused on is what's lit up. And so over the years, I've written thousands, 10,000 cards. Okay, I published a deck, whatever. And it's interesting because these are thoughts that we can use these cards type of things or reading to focus, Nick. And those are your thoughts, okay? So back in the day, everyone was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to, program my thoughts, and then everything's going to change because of law of attraction. And law of attraction became kind of the new black dress, which is awesome, right? Oprah talked about it. Everyone talked about it. Well, that's wonderful, by the way. The issue and the challenge, and I love a challenge, is that your thoughts arise from your beliefs as the foundation, as Dr. Nick said at the beginning. So you've got this foundation of this house, okay? And for the metaphor, you have this house, and it's a foundation of your beliefs. Then come your emotions, then come your thoughts, and then come your action, okay? So beta is a way that I remember it. So when you believe it, foundation, boop, 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 you will see it. I guarantee it, okay? Now, what most people say is they say, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Do you see how that's backwards? So
Yes.
they're up here in action. And I say, no, 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 that's not how it works. So it's first belief. So what are beliefs? So I wanted to show you guys this because I'm doing this. It's funny because I saw a new client last week and she was really happy after our session and she was a referral from a referral, whatever. She's awesome. And then she was, flying high for like whatever, a day or two. And then she's like, wow, I don't feel well, like the third or fourth day. And I was like, well, did you go to the academy? Did you do this? Well, no. So would you ever, eat one salad after eating really poorly, standard American diet your whole life and be like, where's my body that I wanted?
Yeah.
Or would
No.
you go to the gym once and be like, how come I don't look toned? This is a daily moment to moment practice. Okay. And it's
Yes.
fun. That's the thing is people are like, well, why do I have to do it? Well, because you're creating. So when you
Yeah.
create, the way you create, Dr. Nick and
Yeah.
everybody, is by choosing your beliefs because the universe can only reflect back to you your beliefs, period. It has no emotion. So it doesn't sit there and go, does he really want that? I'm not going to reflect. No, reflecting back. Okay. So what you said was, what you asked was, what is a belief? Well, a belief is a story that you tell yourself about yourself all day long, all night long while you're sleeping, sort of. And oftentimes we are acting as belief thieves. Okay. And what that
Yeah.
means is it's actually not our belief at all. And the way that you know that a belief is not yours, Dr. Nick, is that it feels bad. Okay. So if a belief is truly yours, your authentic self, your higher self, your inner being, your soul, your spirit, whatever, the nomenclature really doesn't matter. If it's yours, it feels amazing, which is why I am the excitement whisperer because I teach, coach, and live all day, every day, and at night to follow that excitement because that excitement will lead you to what feels good and what your natural, authentic belief is. Okay. So it's actually not hard to be yourself. The hardest thing is to try to be someone else. And if you go back to the foundation, if you have a foundation of a belief that doesn't serve you, meaning it's not you, life is going to be challenging a lot. Okay. Not because you suck or you don't deserve it, but because you're not connecting with the true you. Are you with me so far?
No, I am 100% with you. You're dropping some amazing gems.
I like to drop gems. So,
Yeah.
so when you change the belief,
Yeah.
you change the outcome. And I'm going to also define beliefs a little bit more. For example, a belief is an addiction to a thought,
Yeah.
an addiction, meaning that we become sloppy, lazy thinkers in life because we don't know yet. Now you do after this podcast. Then it's going to be a choice. But for a while, people are asleep. They forget who they are. They forget who their authentic self is. They're living in a matrix and they're saying like, oh, he's doing that. She's doing that. I'm supposed to do this. And hey, all beliefs are valid. Okay. I'm not here to talk anyone into anything ever.
Yeah.
What I'm here to do is to explain how creation works. Reality works this way. You can choose to do it any way you want. And the important thing, which we talked about in the last podcast or the one before, I talk about all the time, is that all beliefs are valid. So if I have a belief that I notice that I stole, it's not my belief and it feels bad, and I choose to root it out and let it go, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. If I then shout no at that belief and everyone who believes it, that's not the secret sauce because now that's going to stick to me like glue. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. I mean, I really am just picturing myself, and thinking about those listeners out there. Our beliefs are initially first given to us the day that we're born by our parents, by our environment, by the society that's surrounding us. So I'm thinking about myself, and when I was growing up, my beliefs were based on the beliefs of Hinduism, based on the beliefs of being raised in a traditional South Asian household. Those beliefs were something like, well, Nikhil, in order for you to become really successful and looked upon in society as a pillar, you need to become a physician. That's first and foremost. You need to make sure you have a nice big house, that you're having these, nice cars, you're making X amount of dollars, you're having this kind of Indian wife. Like this will make you feel like you've made it in society. Now, I'm sure other listeners have similar stories, maybe not
Yeah.
exactly the same, but you can
Yeah.
see how these beliefs get ingrained in you subconsciously. Every single day, they're brought out to you at a very young age, which is when you're really influenced and your subconscious is like in survival mode. And at that point, you're like, oh, okay, well, in order to please my parents and those around me, I should really do these things because these beliefs seem to make people happy and they're going to make me happy. So I'm going to do them because I want to be loved and I want to be accepted. So I'm going to accept these beliefs as my own. Right. And so I can
Yes.
see, you can see how over time that, okay, like this is how these beliefs played out. I was like, all right, I'm going to become a doctor. And, there is some alignment with that. And then, as life went on, I realized, oh, wow, there seems to be a lot of stress here being a physician in the hospital. I seem to be working a lot of different hours. I'm not sleeping well. I'm constantly stressed. The joy that was once there is no longer there. And so, that, you can see how things can start spiraling out of control, but yet I am being, uh, taking actions from a
Yes.
belief system that was ingrained in me right when I was born. And I never took
I
time to ever reevaluate those beliefs, which is what we need to be doing.
would even I my belief is they're ingrained even when your mom had you in her tummy while she
100%.
was pregnant. Yeah,
Genetically
so it
passed
hap
down, I feel, some of them.
yeah, it happens energetically. Now, what's interesting is I may I ask you a question about
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah.
You you said the joy that was there was not there anymore. Was there ever joy in being a physician for you?
Ooh, yes, yes. So there was joy
Mhm.
in being a physician because the one thing I knew growing up was that I really wanted to help people. I felt this joy of healing other individuals. And so for me, I just assumed that would mean becoming a physician because that's the only thought process that I was aware of. What becoming a healer was to become a physician. I didn't realize
Yes,
that, hey, maybe I could become a psychologist, or hey, maybe I could become, like any other profession that has to do with helping another individual, volunteer, you name it. There's
yes,
healers of all kinds and types out there in the world, right? But
yes,
for me, it was again ingrained that, hey, you seem to want to help people, Nick. Well, you know what? Like being a doctor, there's no more noble and or incredible way
noble.
to be able to do that is to become a doctor. And so, yes, there was this incredible joy I had while walking
Yes,
into a patient's room and seeing them
yes,
and them there at a very vulnerable state, and I felt really honored to be able to be there for them in their toughest times and to help guide them to a new life and a better life. And so, yes, there was a lot of joy that came with that. But the part that was disconnected was that how I associated being a physician then with also having this luxurious lifestyle that
yes,
was taught to me that it was important to have in order to achieve emotional fulfillment. That belief.
yes, yes. And also, it sounds like from what you said, correct me if this is not accurate, that also there was a lack of balance in your health.
Yeah,
In other words, your ability to recharge and, meditate and be with your dog and go for a walk and be in nature. Like it sounds like
that's
you
right.
were, kind of I have many friends from college and graduate school who are physicians, and my sister-in-law is actually an endocrinologist
Yeah.
in Seattle and ran a hospital for 20 years. Um, and I hear all the stories, and I have many clients who are
Yeah.
physicians. I hear the stories, and it seems that there can be, not always, an imbalance and an almost. I guess what always struck me was this sort of, well, you're in medical school, you're an intern, so you have to stay up all night because I did. And
Yeah.
that just makes no sense to me, because
Yeah.
no one is winning from that paradigm. The
No,
patient
no,
certainly is not winning, by the
no,
way,
no,
because
no.
you're exhausted. You're not winning. So, kind of let's just like let bygones be bygones and move forward in balance. Like that's
Yeah.
what's never made sense to me. But again,
Right.
all beliefs are valid. And what I'm hearing, which is fantastic, is that is noble and was noble and is noble. And you walked on that path. That was your sparkly path. And we spoke about this in another podcast. If people want to, re-listen, a lot of my clients and people in the academy listen to these multiple times because there are many layers of information and energy that are disseminated. And it's kind of like a time capsule. You'll listen to it another time. You're like, damn, did he say that last time? Because I missed that. So basically, your path is sparkly and has stepping stones, and that was a noble stepping stone, which also unraveled over time by living imbalance, as you've described, what you didn't prefer. And then you were able to kind of go, okay, I prefer this, I don't prefer that, I'm going to step forward. But only once you validated that step. If you had stayed in like self-victimization, like blame, complain, justify, we would not be on this podcast, correct?
That's 100% right. I had to empower myself. I had to learn and be able to, accept the way things were. But the biggest challenge, and this is where
Yeah.
your 5 steps of conscious creation, comes into play. And I want
Yeah.
each individual to be able to think about a belief that they have as we kind of go
Yeah.
through this in just a moment. And so maybe you can resonate to what I was going through and what I'm currently going through. So yes, I became a doctor. I had this belief
Yeah.
that becoming a doctor was going to bring me emotional fulfillment and that would be my life's mission going forward. But then, because my belief along the way was given to me that this is the way to go, and it wasn't truly coming from my own uh, conscious creation, my own alignment, because it couldn't,
Yes.
right? Because it started when I was a baby, and I'm thankful for being led down this path. However,
Yes.
there does come a point in life where that same thing that has brought you emotional fulfillment doesn't bring you emotional fulfillment
Yeah,
anymore. So
for
it's like
sure.
now I need to find my highest excitement. Now, if you guys
Yes.
have this, I'm going to put this chart up, but it's incredible if you can see this. Like, Taylor has created this amazing 5 steps of conscious creation. So, what am I trying to create now? I've lost that joy of doing, being in the hospital. I now want to become a tech entrepreneur, and I want to create an app that's going to make it fun, easy, and rewarding for people to donate. That's going to bring people to their higher selves. We're going to incorporate some AI technology in there and help people along their journey of life.
Amazing.
Like that is what sparked in my brain, at that time where I lost this joy of being in the hospital, but then this new excitement literally came over me. But the question becomes this, okay, well, how do I do that? Like, wait a second.
Yes, the
Like,
how.
I have not been trained to I didn't go to business school. I don't know anything about
Right.
entrepreneurship. I don't know anything about how to build a tech company. I'm a doctor. I went to medical school and I know how to treat patients, but I don't
Yes.
know those other things, right? So my self-limiting belief is
Yeah.
that, or was that, you know what? Being a doctor, I can't possibly become a CEO of a tech company. Can I, Taylor?
Yes, you can. And this reminds me, it's like deja vu here, except just insert. I was trained as a clinical psychologist, and on a whim decided to open a yoga studio. I didn't know how to open a yoga studio. I didn't know anything about business. Basically, exactly what Dr. Nick said, but it's a few different details.
Yeah.
So yes, and my answer to that, so your self-limiting belief was or still is, what is it?
It is that because I'm a physician, that I'm not qualified to be a CEO of a tech company.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put a pin in that for a sec because I'm just going to give a few other basics for you guys. Okay, and you don't have to remember any of this, by the way.
Yeah.
Remember what sinks in will sink in. Whatever else, let it go. All right. I'm never convincing you of anything. So the reason I wanted to show you guys my cards is to show that I do this all the time and I love it and it's fun for me. Okay, I am the excitement whisperer. I actually am. Ask my kids. I
100%.
do this all the time. So law of attraction is making reality out of what you believe. Okay. I like to put sparkles on them, but my kids don't like that because they get everywhere. So here's the deal. The illusion of power, stay with me because it's all related to Dr. Nick's self-limiting belief that we're going to squash if he chooses in this right now. Because here's a belief. Here's one belief. Ready? Beliefs are hard to change. And then flip the coin. Always flip the coin. There are two sides always, right? Flip it. Beliefs are easy to change. All right. Here's one side of a coin, a belief. That's a deep-rooted belief. Flip it over. Use the other side of the other one. Beliefs are easy to change. Every single time that you, meaning Dr. Nick or anyone who's listening or speaking to myself, say that you're not ready, okay? You are you're giving yourself permission to have a process, and that is absolutely fine. There's nothing right or wrong. Remember that from another episode, it's a trinity. So it's neutrality in the middle. When you're born, it's neutral, okay? You don't have from a belief. I said you kind of do because you took it in from your, when you're in your mom's tummy, but let's just say you're born neutral. And so that's the biggest gift that you have, everybody, is that life is meaningless. And that not in the depressing way or the compressing way, but life is meaningless until you assign meaning. You are the crystal through which the light shines through the projector and creates your life, okay? So the belief is so essential because the belief is what is going to illuminate through that crystal. Okay, so power, as Dr. Nick wisely learned, he decided to be in his power instead of being a victim, which is self-victimization, because everything is yourself. Okay, you're the entire universe. So self-victimization feels really bad because you feel stuck and powerless. You feel unworthy and not good enough. And you feel like life is hard and you can't catch up and it's just too much. Okay. That's how you feel. So who can relate? Everyone has felt that way. All right. Yeah. When you're born, you have this clean slate. And actually, here's the best news ever. Every moment you have a clean slate, you have a brand new white canvas. However, you're no offense, really, I don't mean this offensively, but you are so sloppy and lazy in your thinking that you keep pulling all this junk from behind you that you don't prefer and painting it in the now. All right. And that's rising from momentum and beliefs. Well, that's just the way it is. That's always the way it's been in my family. There's so many beliefs that I could uncover in all of you and myself. However, here's wonderful news. Again, you will only in any moment be given what you can handle in that moment, which is why I personally am trained in psychology formally. However, I do this. I'm the excitement whisperer through conscious creation coaching, transformational coaching, energy coaching. People call it all different things. It doesn't matter because I personally believe that when it's divine time and when we're ready to look at a belief, it's going to bubble up And then we can, in that moment, choose. Oh, isn't that interesting? How do I know I have a belief that is not mine? Well, I feel like crap. Okay. So you ask yourself, what must I believe to be true to feel? Remember, it's beta: belief, emotion, thought, action. So first belief, I don't feel so good right now. What must I believe to be true to feel this way? And then if you're open and willing, the belief will pop up. Maybe not exactly then. It might be, later that day. It might be in your dream. It might be in meditation. However, it will pop up when you're ready. All right. And when it does pop up, that's when you can decide, oh, my belief is, so for example, Nick's belief, I am not trained to be a CEO of a tech company. Was that it? Was that what
That's
it was?
right.
I'm
Yes.
trained in
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a belief. And then I would say kind of an umbrella over that specific belief would be I'm not good enough, or I'm not
Right. Yes. Exactly.
worthy,
Yes.
right?
That's
And
exactly right.
usually everybody, spoiler alert, it's usually that's kind of over the umbrella over the specific of, plug in tech company. Okay.
That's right. It's like a
So
little bit of an imposter syndrome, like I'm not worthy of this level of stature because I didn't do the training to get to this level.
and then the belief behind that is what we've been taught, bless their hearts, by industries that train people. Because, dude, you got to, sales is
Yeah.
sales, right? You
Yeah.
got to you
Yeah.
got to get people, got to fill up those things, those
Yeah.
whatever they are. I don't want to
Yeah.
pick on anything. I'm not
Yeah.
picking on anything. Remember, every belief system is self-reinforcing. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you believe it,
Yep.
it will work. And so it's fascinating to look at how people see that the universe is reflecting back to them their negative beliefs in the form of negative emotions, thoughts, and action, meaning reality. And so I say to them, okay, so if the universe is reflecting that back from that negative belief, how about you choose a different belief that feels good and just let it reflect back? Well, how long will that take? It will take now. It will happen immediately. However, it's dependent upon you believing it, like actually believing it. And then actually
Yeah.
above belief, you guys, is knowing.
No.
When you know it, it just is. Okay, that's
Yeah.
like, all right. All right. So back to illusion of power though, real quick. When you say, Dr. Nick, this says if you want something, illusion of power is you want something outside of you to cause your belief to change, meaning I need this circumstance to change, meaning I need my business to blow up before I change my belief that I'm worthy. Not going to happen that way. It can't. Little bits. I mean, you can have a modicum of success, but that's not what I do. Like, go big or go home. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason that anyone can't be the very best them at whatever they choose and believe. And that success is defined there an infinite
Yes.
number. My personal definition of success for me, my belief is that I am following the formula precisely every moment. And I'm 99% there. About 1% of the time I bump out of it. Because if you're doing that, you guys, you're in bliss state. You're in bliss.
Yes. 100% bliss state.
And it's not through alcohol or drugs. I'm not saying
No.
anything against anything or food
No.
or things or whatever you're plugging in. And those all things are fine. It's just that they're not they're not sustainable is what I want to say, because when you have to maintain something, it's not real. Okay, so the one thing that's real forever, eternity, is unconditional love. And when you're connected with excitement, you're all set.
You're set.
That's it.
You are set. It drives you. It makes you move every single day. It gets you up out of your bed. You're doing things. You're not allowed to really sit there and lay there and do nothing when you are attached. The unconditional love to like a purpose. It is the most powerful thing that you can accomplish in this lifetime. And if everyone can do that, your life will lead to an incredible amount of emotional fulfillment. And Taylor, her 5-step creation is an incredible way to be able to do that. But there are
I'm going to
journeys, there
walk
are
you.
steps.
Yeah, I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps, but and also something Dr. Nick just said is really important that just like so I would my belief in your path, this is my personal belief, is that you so what really lights you up is helping people to heal. Okay. Now my belief is that people heal themselves and you're the permission slip, you guide them in whatever form, including my own. So um when my clients, and they say this all the time, thank you so much, you changed my life. And I say, um, look in the mirror and thank yourself because you changed your life because you chose to follow the steps with precision. I personally follow the steps, but I can't follow them for you. I can teach you and I can hold my vibration here and you can choose to meet it or not. Okay.
Right.
I can't force you to do anything, nor would I want to. It's just not possible. So, Dr. Nick, I believe your higher mind actually put those steps, those sparkly steps, going through being a physician, being a service, noble profession, to show you, helping others to heal, to show you, ooh, I love that part. And I don't prefer that part. And then
Exactly.
you had incredible courage to yeah, I'm getting like full body
Yeah,
chills
I
right
know.
now.
I
So,
know. Yes, yes.
and people are so inspired by that. And because they're like, if he did it and they're right, I can. So if you look at someone and you go, damn, that's so inspiring, rock on. If you look at someone and you're jealous or you feel you want to attack them or criticize them or judge them, just note that, just flip that coin over because it might feel good for a second. Okay, I'll give you that, or 5 seconds. But after that, it feels terrible. That's because it's not your belief. It's not unconditional love. And the best thing you have are people like Dr. Nick who have the courage to come out and say, this is what happened. This is what I did. And if I can do it, you can. And he's right. And so, it won't look the same way. It all looks different. It looks different for me every single day. I thought I would have my yoga studios forever. Okay. I thought we'd have 50 studios, 50. I thought I'd have a raw vegan restaurant in every one. I thought it would have childcare. I thought it would have chiropractors in there. Okay, um, we had our studios for 16 years, and it was not a pleasant process to sell my studios. I'll tell you that. And it was the best thing for everyone's highest good in the long term. And if you can remember that and remember that in the moment, your highest excitement might be something that doesn't feel so good. Hold on. You might say, but that doesn't make sense. You said not feeling good means it's not your belief. No. Sometimes, so challenge until you redefine it, as I have, challenge is excitement as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have a theme like Dr. Nick in his life, which is I came in, you know, preferring, choosing, resonating with helping others to heal. Those are my words. I'm extrapolating a little, but so um that was his theme, right? Well, then when he hit contrast or challenge in that shows it's his theme. That's exciting, right? Because he, I'm not going to say conquered it because I don't really believe in that word, but he surrendered to it
Yeah.
and got to a 0 point, which we all often do when we're like, all right, well, what do I have to lose here? And now he's skyrocketing up. But it goes like this. You guys, it doesn't go
Yeah.
like this. It
Yes.
goes this, this, this.
Yeah, growth isn't linear. It certainly
No.
has its spirals, but it's important. You make a great point. When I made the decision to change my career and go down the entrepreneur, when I went down the entrepreneurial route, I was like flooded with all these negative beliefs that started coming into my brain. Nick, how
Yes.
are you going to make money? Nick, who's going to be a part of this? Nick,
Yeah.
is anyone really going to like this? Nick,
Yeah.
is this really something that's going to be successful? I mean, come on, man, you're a doctor. So imagine for 1 second what has now just happened. Fear has come over your brain, and it
Yes.
literally puts you in this position where you're stuck. And of course, your nervous system is like, whoa, let's ease up there, buddy. That seems like a very challenging task for you to try to accomplish. And we're going to be testing our livelihood at this point, which is the last thing that our nervous system wants to be dealing with, because it knows how to be safe, and it is going to do everything in its power to keep you in that safe place. So for
Yes.
you to break out of that comfort zone, you must start by challenging your beliefs that you're having at this current moment. Am I going to become homeless by changing my career currently? No, right? Like, I will know that I will have a place to stay, whether if I need to at my parents' house, at my aunt's house, so I'll be safe there. So it's
You can stay
important.
at my house,
Yeah,
Dr.
exactly. It
Nick.
is
You stay at my
important.
house.
It is important for you to start going over each one of those beliefs and realize that, yes, initially, when you start confronting things, yes, cortisol comes over your body, your heart starts racing, you start breathing a little faster, your head starts pounding. However, when you are chasing your excitement and you get some positive feedback, like for instance, for me, it was just about sharing my idea with another person, just sharing it. That feedback that I got from the other person was like, wow, Nick, that's such an incredible idea. And so, how did that affect me? I started having dopamine release coming into my system,
Yes.
like, wow,
Yes.
yeah, look, they're really excited about it. Like, okay, maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe there can be something that's going to come out of this. So, that caused me, okay, to take a step forward, right? And so what Taylor is saying is, like, when you're going through this change, it is a little bit of a process. But as you can
Yeah.
see, how when you take one step forward by just sharing what your highest excitement is, to the ones that you love and the ones that you trust, and you get
Yes.
this feedback, your brain starts reprogramming itself. It's called
Yes.
neuroplasticity. And we have that
Yes.
ability, each and every one of
Yes.
us. And it doesn't take a
Yes.
long time to do. Anywhere from
No.
learning new habits can just take a couple days. To some people, it might take about a month, but it's not as hard as long as people think it is. And it's about reinforcing those new patterns, those new beliefs that will
Yes.
make your brain forget about the old ways of how it was wired, and literally help you rewire a new way of being. And that is
Yes.
extremely powerful.
I love everything you said, and I'm going to piggyback on a few of those things and agree and say a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, just the piece of, some people, I love how you're including everyone. So, everyone is going to have a different process. Everyone listening to this. Whether it takes you a minute, a moment, a week, a month, or a year, whatever, time is illusion anyway. We have a whole thing on that podcast last 2 weeks ago. That is all based upon your belief. Okay.
Yep.
However, you cannot fake a belief. So you can't be like, well, I believe that it'll change right now, but you really don't. How do you know it doesn't change right now? And by the way, I love what Dr. Nick said, because he said, forget it, because you can't, kill it or fight it. You just change a belief, okay? And then that old one just kind of floats away, because remember, you are the entire universe, right? Reality is a projection of you, your beliefs. So it's just not who you are anymore. I like to say I'm a brand new person in a brand new moment with a brand new experience every single moment, because it's true. That's how reality works, and everything is now. And so if there's something in your past that you prefer, sure, bring it forward. If you don't prefer it, I wouldn't focus on that. And when you follow excitement, you guys, some of you might be thinking, well, I have no idea. All I know is I hate my job. Okay. I have people come to me like that. It's not even about necessarily in the moment, in this now moment, um, you know, being a physician and deciding I want to do this. It might be literally in this now moment. Okay. After we assume that you're enjoying this podcast. That was your excitement. So hopefully. And then after you finish this podcast, you have some choices. You could do some work, you could read a book, you could take a nap, you could go for a walk, you could call a friend, you could have a meal. From that moment, just choose what feels highest excitement. Now, excitement doesn't mean you have to be running around with your hair on fire. Okay. It could feel like a calm, like peace. It could feel just like clarity. It could feel, and as I said earlier, it could feel like, believe it or not, contrast or challenge. Because when Dr. Nick was talking about the brain and the neuroplasticity of the brain, so every time you feel an emotion, so let's say call it anxiety, all right, or stress. I guess that's not really an emotion, a state. It's your energy. It's always your energy, and how it shows up is colored by your belief. Okay, so you have one energy. Okay, so Dr. Nick is born as Dr. Nick. He has this signature vibration. Okay, so as Dr. Nick is a newborn, he is neutral, except he hasn't forgotten who he is. So he just is so like you see babies, like how can you not smile when you look at a baby? They're just like, they're so happy. Um, because they haven't learned that that they have to earn happiness. So I have a client who spent his whole life trying to make a lot of money, did make a lot of money, and then went into a massive depression before I started seeing him because he had never allowed himself the happy moment. He was waiting to have a ton of money to feel happy. And then once he got there, he had no skills. He didn't have the skill of happiness, right? And so that would be like if I went to Wimbledon. I used to train as a tennis player and I had never hit a tennis ball. I'm not going to do well, clearly, correct? So
Mm-hmm.
it's about practicing this. However, it's also about the openness to know that your neuroplasticity, your brain loves to be stimulated and rewired. And it only takes, and I do this every morning for at least 15 minutes, I bring myself into a gamma state, which is between 40 and 100 hertz per second. And that's just through meditation, you guys. It's not complicated. And when you hit that and you hold it, then your brain is wired for the day, quote unquote. Okay. And if you do that a lot, just like hitting backhands, you'll be better at it. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah. No, it
Did I
makes
lose
perfect
you with the
sense. No,
neuro?
it makes perfect sense. I'm just, it's very,
It's a
I think
little,
this changing of the belief situation, we do make
yeah,
it much harder. We make life much harder than we need to because of the reasons that we had discussed earlier, because how our nervous system kicks in and it
yeah.
doesn't like to change and it keeps us in a place that we feel comfortable because change is going to bring a lot of uncomfortableness. It's going to bring people coming up to you and saying, "Oh, why are you changing for? This is crazy." Or my parents telling me, "Nick, are you out of your mind? Like, what are you doing?" So even like hearing those words and dealing with those types of situations seems daunting. It seems overwhelming. It will make you feel bad about yourself. So this is just a little bit of a process, but it's so important for us to understand before we make that change. There is some belief systems that we must focus on changing in order for us to move forward in that journey, and that's really, really
Okay,
important. That's what Taylor is
hold
going to
on.
talk, finish up with here.
Yeah, I got to say something about what you just said. Oh my God, I have the best card for that. First of all, these are just what he just said. So actually, back up. So what Nick said, I went through all of that. Are you crazy? You're way too educated to open a yoga studio, and your husband, blah blah blah. And
Yeah,
you'll
all
never
those
make
things.
money, and
Yes,
there's
yes.
no parking there. And then by
I
the
know.
way, when you're
It's
when you're
it's crazy.
successful, quote unquote, they're like, "Oh, I'm so happy I supported you," and you're like, I don't think you did, but that's okay. They're rewriting history, which is fine. So here's a really good card. Okay, wait, but the fact that so know that you'll have a few of those people. However, that's also a belief. So I really don't want to see that belief. We're saying it so that when they pop up, which they
Yeah.
will at first, because you have those beliefs that that's going to happen. But I have this great card. I hope I can find it. And it says, "Nice to meet." Well, I know what it says. It says, "Nice to meet you. You're going to behave exactly as I expect you to. Nice to meet you. in your head, you're saying this. You're going to, so Nick and I just gave you a little like spoiler alert that you're going to have a few people. I maybe had, I don't know, 10 people who did that, including always family. Yay. And they mean well, but, and then family of origin is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So, and then also it's always a few surprising people pop in there. I was like, really? I would have thought. And usually it's because they, honestly, this is my belief. They know that they wish they could be leaving their job that they don't prefer.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I'm glad you said that, because it's important for people to understand that aspect of this, is that there's people, there are envious people out there, there's jealous people, there's voices are going to appear. This is just a test for you to see how much resolve you have in making what you truly desire happen. Just look at it that way.
Yeah. It's I love that you just said the test thing, because that's, I could do a whole podcast about this. The fact that when you change a belief, this is important. It's all important. It's all fun.
Yes.
When you change a belief, sometimes there is an echo effect, and that's your higher being, your authentic self on the mountain saying, did you really change your belief? Let me throw you Aunt Hazel, who's going to say some words that make you feel like someone stabbed you. How do you, after 15 seconds, I give you 15 seconds to feel, what did she just say? And then go to neutral. And then how do you respond to that? Okay, so responsibility, my definition is the ability to respond. Okay, and so my ability to respond is, that's cool. That's not my belief. But if I go spiraling, now what have I done? I am allowing a circumstance. This is step 4, you guys. I'm going to go through the steps. Aunt Hazel saying something downright mean to me that makes me feel what? Not good enough, unworthy, blah, 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 blah. And then I spiral out. Well, guess what? I didn't really change my belief, because if I had changed my belief, I'm rock solid. My house is built on a rock, that foundation. And also, what else? I'm tying in a bunch of podcasts here. All beliefs are valid. It's a trinity. Aunt Hazel is valid. And guess what? If I really believe in what I'm doing, that doesn't even, it just goes right off me like water off a duck, because that's cool. That's not my belief. That would be like me going to a buffet and I don't prefer oysters. And I flip out because there's oysters on the buffet. Take them off. I don't want those there. They might get on my plate. Just don't take the oysters. Who cares? Somebody else likes oysters. Move on. Take something else. There is no difference. It's just that we haven't been taught to have all these beliefs about oysters, or maybe you have. I haven't. But the motivational mechanism is what Dr. Nick is very wisely referring to, which is this. You will never, ever do anything, action, beta, belief, action, belief, emotion, thought, action. You will never take any action. Everyone, there are no exceptions, unless you believe it serves you. So if you're doing something that feels bad, ask yourself, what must I believe to be true? And then if you're open to it, it will pop. If you're not ready, it won't, and that's okay. And that's why I'm not a huge fan of like the digging in general in like psychology in that field, because when you're ready, it will pop, and absolutely feel it, feel heard and process and have your process. But I don't believe in digging because I think that's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So for your belief, what would you do? What is something? So first, the first thing, everybody, is awareness. Okay?
Yes.
Now that you've heard this podcast, you can't hide under the self-victimization of, well, it's just a habit. No, it's not. Now it's a choice. So now you get to choose. Taylor said that the universe will just reflect my beliefs. So doesn't it just make sense to allow those that don't serve me to bubble up? How do I know? I don't feel good. I ask myself, what must I believe to be true? So Nick, so let's say you're in that moment that you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to, oh, and you know what else you did that was perfect is go like completely take it to the ridiculous. Like, I'm terrified that I will be homeless, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't be able to eat.
for real. I'm saying
It's
these are the thoughts
really
that come
good.
up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know.
So yeah, I mean, my thought was that, hey, I'm a doctor. I don't know if I'm not qualified really to be a CEO, tech CEO. And so do I really want to pursue? Am I capable of pursuing this dream of mine?
Right.
Yeah.
So, so what's interesting, one of my favorite cards is what I need to know will be revealed exactly when I need it, not before and not after. So I will know what I need to know exactly when I need to know it, not before and not after. Now, that makes people, or you can say it many different ways, whatever I need will appear exactly when I need it, not before, not after, whether that is information or, food or shelter, whatever, friends, love. So that makes people uncomfortable because people want to make a spreadsheet. They want to have it all in their iPhone. Years ago, it was Franklin Daily Timer, etc. So when we used to train people in yoga, they would get so mad because they'd come in and they'd be like, okay, what's the syllabus? What are we going to be doing? And I would say, I'm not telling you that. Just show up each time open minded. And it would teach them to be in the moment and to absorb what was being taught in that moment. And that makes human beings very uncomfortable. And when you choose a belief, again, this is one of my very favorite beliefs that I personally cherish. Whatever I need will appear when I need it, not before and not after. Okay. So I understand we like to prepare. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a Virgo. I get it. However, if you're preparing from excitement, go for it. If you're preparing because you're anxious or you're fearful, I would examine that belief. Okay. So what Dr. Nick is saying is that I haven't been trained, blah, blah, blah. Well, so, so here's my belief. Um, Training is in doing. And he has accrued so much, um, information, knowledge, content over his year so in Earth School, which is the master class. I tell you, we're all here in a master class of limitation. We're all masters of limitation. So he here, that's his inner critic holding him. He was saying this,
Yeah.
holding him like, stay here with me. It's really uncomfortable, but at least what it's like. The devil is better than the devil you don't. All those things. Stay here with me because if you try that, you will fail. The force that pulls
Yes.
you to the negative, people ask me that, right? And it's in my book.
Yeah.
Why are beliefs easier? Because I'm sorry, why what's that force that brings me, to the negative or whatever? People say, oh, am I, is there a negative spirit that possessed me? No, it's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Choose your beliefs. Don't give your power away to something that's not real. That's not real.
Right.
You can choose. So if you keep your vibration high, nobody is going to attach to you. Okay, that's just
Yeah.
not happening. But your hindering beliefs are a gift because when they come up, when right, you go, how do I know this doesn't serve me? It doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
So, Nick, what was the motivational mechanism, do you believe, that held you down there? Like, well, I can't
Yeah.
do that because you blew through
Yeah.
it clearly
Yeah.
because here you
Yeah.
are.
The motivational mechanism that kept me at a lower vibrational state was my pride and thinking that, being a physician is the only means of me accruing wealth in this lifetime and becoming and having stability. That was what was really holding me back from making that change because I didn't feel like I had the techniques and the skill set to become an entrepreneur and a CEO that would bring me the stability I was looking for.
Okay. I love what you just said so much. Um, all right, I am going to tell a quick story, and here's why. We learn through stories, narratives. That's how our brains are wired. That's how
Yeah,
we're wired. Okay, that's why
yeah,
there's the Bible and other such
yeah,
stories. Okay, so when I was 8 years old, I had been training to be a figure skater. I wanted to go to the Olympics, and I could land an axle and all those things. And I had been skating every morning at 5 a.m. And then when I was 8 years old, the skating rink in my hometown, Lake Bluff, Illinois, burnt down. So my mom said, she used to take me skating in the morning. She said, the rink burnt down, so you need to play tennis now. I was 8. I'd been skating since 5, and I was really good. So I, cried and I ran out of the house. I was going to run away. And then I came back and they said, well, why don't you want to play tennis? And I said, this is what you were just describing. I was 8. I said, I'm too old to play tennis. It's too late.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I was 8. Okay.
yeah,
So his brain, with his ego, he calls it
yeah,
pride or ego,
yeah,
whatever. That's your lower mind. These are
yep,
another podcast, your lower mind, right?
yeah,
His lower mind is saying, you'll never be respected like you are
yeah,
as a physician. You won't make money and you don't know what you're doing, all those things. So those they seem really real, you guys, and that's okay. And it's not about getting mad at those beliefs or thoughts. Remember, it's a belief first. We'll just do that. It's about embracing it and saying, you know what, you're safe. Talk to your ego and go, your ego is afraid that I'm going to talk to Dr. Nick, that he is going to be abandoned and you won't need him anymore. Because he can only, bless his heart, but he can only like memorize for the MCATs, which I'm sure you did really well. But your higher mind has access to infinity. And like this guy down here is going, you don't know enough to do that. And then
yeah,
up here, you have people like me who just
yeah,
dropped into your life and it's like, let's
yes,
do this together,
yeah,
right?
yes,
So I'm like the tip of the iceberg of what's
no,
coming, and you just keep opening to it. But it's the expansion and the openness of I have no idea how this is going to happen, but
yes,
it is.
exactly. And so that starts with recognizing what your beliefs are, removing any self-limiting beliefs. That is such a key aspect of this situation, of your beliefs, of your foundations. Imagine yourself trying to try to walk and take a step, and you're taking a step with, I'm not worthy of being in this position. How would that step and vibration feel like? Pretty shaky, right? Pretty shaky. Now walk with a step while saying, I deserve every great thing in this life to happen for me. I deserve it all. And walk. And I promise you, you feel this energetic strength and vibration that is in your legs that helps you move forward, right? Like that is so
Yes,
key for people to understand. It is so powerful to walk with that I deserve, I am, I can, you know. Uh, so when you're releasing these beliefs, understand
yes,
that you're creating new ones. And from those new beliefs, you're following the method of beta. Then comes your emotions. Then comes those thoughts. And then from those beliefs come actions. So I believe that I can become the CEO and a tech entrepreneur of this company. I believe it. So what have I
I
done in the
am.
past year and a half?
Not become,
I've worked on
not
that.
become. I
I am.
am.
I am.
So
So I am
there's a
that.
pro tip. The reason why sorry to interrupt you, but the reason that's really important. I am. Why? Because it's always now. Okay,
Yes.
so don't become, and it's okay, you guys. You'll be like, no, I'm not. That's okay. Just
Yes.
know and just give that lower part of you love. So what Dr. Nick just said, ready? All beliefs create their own can you read that? Self
Self-perpetuating
perpetuating
systems of sport.
systems of support. So doesn't that make sense that you would just choose a belief? Yeah, but old beliefs are hard to change. That's a belief, right? That's what's going to pop up. This is all my family's always been. Okay. And then the paradox is that if your reality now, everybody I'm talking to, you, is being supported by the negative beliefs, right? Look around. Your reality is being supported by your beliefs. just clean up you don't have to dig it all up. Just clean up the ones that pop up. And, Dr. Nick is so amazingly open with us, and that's a huge gift. You can receive this gift, or we're giving you a gift receipt. You can return it. We will never, ever tell anyone what to do, because you have free will, and the universe, which is all of us, loves you unconditionally, which is why it will reflect a crappy belief. And you're like, well, if it loved me so unconditionally, why would it do that? Because you have free will. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
So I know we're kind of out of time, but we have all the time we need, but
yeah.
I wanted to say one other thing. Where is
Yeah.
it? All right. So we talked about the belief, maybe it's safe to stay here. It benefits me. So I believe that's what happened with Dr. Nick for many years until he got here. My belief is that all your training, okay, because I've seen it with, since we sold Prana, and my handsome husband is a professor at Brandeis in entrepreneurship. We both talk about how every step that we took in our education that was not for yoga, he was in PhD in economics and I was psychology. Our education, our yoga studios, but let us hear, my kitty's here with us now, let us hear, and just like your education, all of that, and your what do they call it? You're a hospitalizer? Wait, what do they?
Hospitalist. Yeah.
Hospitalist, yes.
Yeah.
So that, which I bow to all, you guys, are you kidding me right now? That's a really intense job. But he got so sick and tired of his lower mind saying, just stay here, it's safe here. And by the way, you're way too smart to do that. But also you don't even know anything about it, so you're not smart at all. Do you see the paradox?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like
that's
a contradiction.
Yeah.
Whenever you see the paradox, you're free. You can go, that makes no sense. And then, guys, if you're not ready to let go of the belief, don't let go of it. That's okay. Suffer some more. Keep your hand on the stove. And when you're ready to take your hand off.
No, it's true. It's true.
I don't mean that meanly. I had my hand on the stove for a long time.
No.
Okay?
It's like that's what we're trying to do is prevent people from getting to the crash and burn situations that inevitably come when you're in a door that you shouldn't be in any longer. We can only stay in there for so long. Eventually, the universe will remove you from that door. But how you want to be removed from that door can either be your choice. You can walk out it yourself, or you can stay in it, and then eventually those house of cards that were built on a very shaky foundation will eventually collapse. Right? So, anyways.
And we're here to help you do it earlier. And I actually would love to do a second podcast at some point on beliefs, because it's so rich, and that is really the foundation. But a really good belief to leave you guys with is just hold on. There's so many good ones, but we'll just do this. Beliefs are easy to change. Okay?
Yep.
Beliefs are easy to change. And if you don't believe that right now, you might ask yourself, why? Why? And why not? And also, so what? So what if I try whatever? That's a good mantra. So what? Why not? Why not me? Those are some good ones. And just really, so being aware, choosing to change them, and then understanding that you can create the illusion that change is slow, or you can choose the belief that it's instantaneous. Has anyone ever met someone who went cold turkey on anything? That's what that is.
That's right. Well, very, very, very well said. And it's just so important for us to understand that, yes, these beliefs can be changed immediately. And these beliefs have come from maybe less than 1% of the amount of information that is out there. It has to do with the circumstances you were in, the parents that you were born in, the small town that you were living in, or big town, whatever it is. Think about the whole world and all the data that's really out there. And so just be open to other ways of thinking, other ways of believing. And if you just open up your mind, the universe will bless you with new ways of doing things and will guide you and support you along that journey that's going to bring you emotional fulfillment and make your dreams come true. So just want to thank everybody for being here today on another incredible podcast with Taylor Wells. If you want to get coaching with her, and if you want to get her book, The Best Life Ever, which I highly, highly recommend those out there to just read, you'll be motivated. You'll understand so much of what we're talking about here. We will leave a link for you in the description on how to get that and other resources to help you along in your journey of reaching your highest self. Until next time, peace and love.